Okay, hey everyone, and welcome back to another live where I'm going to show you more cool stuff that I'm trying out. And today I'm going to briefly show you how to use um, the Claude desktop app when it's connected to Airtable. So essentially, you're able to connect it via MCP, which I'm not going to show the whole setup right now because it's a bit complicated, but I just want to show you where everything is headed. And in my newsletter, where I wrote about today how Claude is able to use MCP servers, this is what I refer to. So essentially, I'm going to be using my Airtable demo base, and this is all information that is made up. And I'm going to use Claude to control my Airtable database. So now, if you have a lot of information in your CRM in different Excel sheets or different platforms, and you want to talk to that data and interact with the data live and maybe update that CRM, and it's been hard so far, I'm thinking about building out different Airtable databases for certain tasks and then connecting them to Claude. And then the only place you need to talk to about any of your information any single time would be Claude. Because on ChatGPT, on the custom GBT side, one of the major complaints that I've seen and heard is that you have to constantly update the knowledge base information if you keep on adding information. So I was really thinking on how to get around this problem. So now, if this live database could constantly be updated, and then you could chat with Claude from this information, then essentially you could just have this as your brain and then Claude as the front end. And I'm going to share all of, and I'm going to explain I'm going to explain all of this as we go forward. But Claude created all of this for me, and I'm going to show you. Like, I went into Claude and I was like, okay, create me a sales process tracker. And then it created it for me. And then I was like, okay, great. From all the contacts here, create me all of this. And it went and did it by itself. So let's get started and I can show you what I mean. So now here's the Claude interface. If you go to search and tools, so you're only able to add MCP servers, I think, on the desktop, unless they also started to do some of them on the regular app. But you can see here, I connected it through an API key into Airtable. Like, I'm able to control my files on my computer. And here is where I could look through calendar events, my drive, web search. So for today's purposes, I'm just going to disable the drive. I'm going to disable the calendar. I only want to focus on Airtable. So let's get it started. Be like, can you find my Airtable real estate demo interface? Okay, so now let's say you're just interacting with it and it's going to use the Airtable API MCP server, go to it, and then it's able to read it live. So now, if someone were to update the tracker, you're automatically, anytime you update, you interact with Claude, you could get live information. But now, even better than that, if you add documents, so let's say you have a contract, you have a lot of information that you want to summarize and then take out all the information from, and then you want to add it into your database, you're now able to put that all into Claude and then just say update Airtable and it will do it all for you. So now let's just start adding a fake column and I'll show what I mean. just saying in the overview section, add another row of fake data. I'm gonna try to see if you could see it live and how it works. Okay. You see here now we're just going to use all fake data, but let's say you had real data. Now it could go in and update all of these columns by itself. So it's going to go in here. It's going to start talking to the Airtable system. And then it said, okay, great. It added the new property. So now if we go here, it added all of this information all by itself. So now if you were to go again next time, be like, okay, great. What are my current deals? Where are they at? Everything will be live. And then all of your people across all of the different teams could use this as a source of truth. And then anytime you chat with Claude, it will only be pulling the live data. So now let's say here, these people were just added. And I created this, and I created the parties context. So now these people aren't in the parties and contacts. So I'm going to write, please add the contact information to the see Sarah and Michael Chen, Jennifer Walsh. See here, it's going and creating records from that contact all by itself and appropriately tagging the property with the phone number and the email and the address and the current status, the notes, last contact date, and it's going down. See, it's just incredible about the use cases that you could think of just to use Airtable as a backend CRM and Claude as the front end interactor, like to go back and forth with that information. And then now you see here are all the primary contacts, and it was added, and it is all linked by itself. And you don't have to lift a finger. And this is the beauty of using MCP connections with Airtable and Claude. So now let's create another table. Create another table. Using current financial deal information broken down. This for both. So now let's see, you have all your financial terms, but you want each deal broken down and sorted and analyzed, let's say, according to the financial terms. So let's say, so I'm just saying I have no table. So I want it to create everything for me. So help me create another table showcasing the current financial deal information broken down. Do this for both properties. Okay. So now it's going to create another table, and you could see how you could interact back and forth and ask information with Claude. And ChatGPT has something similar where it's called connections, which I'll show it in the future, but it's kind of like a research tool where it just goes out and analyzes and provide a report. But the beautiful thing about this is that you could have that conversation, and it's really unlike anything else. And then I could even say, go out, search the internet, update the information, and then like, okay, so it just added this financial breakdown table. Now it just added all of these columns, linking it back to the property. And then now you have everything broken out by columns, by notes, by property link. So Adam asked, are you planning to create a general UI interface that the client would use? Right now, I'm playing with this in terms of this is mainly for you to use to manage your properties or to manage the deals, not necessarily to share with the client, but you are able to create certain interfaces that show information that you're able to share with the client at the end of the day. But this is mainly to get through your work on a faster basis. So now, let's see. Let's see if it could. I don't think it create interfaces, but here. So now even here, let's do calendar. There, I think track of all the dates and deadlines for deal and just see what that does. So you could essentially create your own CRM exactly how you would like to operate, all with your information. And then anytime you have information you want to update, you could throw it in here, summarize it, say add to my table, update it, or if you're on a larger team and they're all using this to update information, they could go into the Airtable. They don't even need Claude to, anytime something is changed, it will you'll automatically have access to the most up-to-date information. So here it just created the milestones and deadline table, and it created all of this without me doing anything. Home inspection deadline, property due date, actual status, priority category. It just created all of these categories: priority, status, notes, responsible party, links it back to the property. What category is it in? So it just so powerful, and it's just going to go for all of these parties. So now even if you want to filter from here, so let's say if you want to filter by milestone. No, let's sort by milestone. Sort group. Say group by status, and then boom, you have everything neatly organized, and you could even further group by property name. And here, now you have these properties upcoming, these milestones, and these are complete, these are at risk. Everything's broken down here. And you give creating an interface a try using Claude. I love to see something. Yeah, so the interface, I'm not 100% sure if the interface will work because if you see here, it has to be able via the MCP to actually have those actions. So I do only think that it will be able to only update tables. Let's see. Create a side facing interface. Do not think this is going to work, but the only way. Oh, so I guess that's one way to do it. So this will actually take the information from Airtable. It'll create an artifact in Claude, and then I guess then you could just share that artifact with your client. Let's see what it puts together here. But yeah, it's not going to be able to create an actual interface on Airtable itself. Yeah, so just to summarize, like what I'm thinking of this is like everyone has their CRMs, like all of their information spread out everywhere. But if you really put that all in one place, you said, okay, this is your real estate tracker. Now you have each tab for each separate tracking milestone. And then anytime you get a new deal, you want to analyze a new deal, you just put it into Claude. It could analyze it for you and say, okay, great, add this property to my Airtable. Now it's going to do that for you. So now everything will stay up to date. And you could also look at Airtable anytime you want without AI also. So that's also the beauty because you don't need AI to control Airtable. But if you want to pull that information, that's where it's going to get really powerful because it's going to be pulling from a live database. So this, okay, let's see what Claude created. See, it's really incredible the things that it could do. Like just from that, I said create the thing, and then it basically coded an entire overview of the two properties. Then, okay, so this didn't showed an error, but yeah, it kind of did this. But even if I wanted to do it more, it could start editing it more. So I'm not going to start playing around with this artifact, but you could create these really cool artifacts within Claude to share with your clients. Let's see. So here, let's try to do a multi-step thing. So web search, okay, and then Airtable, okay. I want you to go out online and find for me 3 different properties that are for sale in New York. I don't care what they are. Get me the information and then update my Airtable in the real estate test base with all the information you found. And now let's see, use different tools with each other. Okay, so now it's searching the web. Pick the property. Okay, it's getting a third property. It's adding it to my Airtable, just like that. Right there. And this is real information. Like if you're looking to like aggregate, like right there, another property added. Property details, financial terms, key dates, and additional notes. So now, okay, it's going to add a third property. Okay, now without me even telling it anything, it said, now let me add the financial breakdown. So now it's going into the financial tab and adding all that information: list price, sale price, price reduction. And it's all properly tagging all back to the overview. Like this is insane. Okay, and now it's adding the key contacts. See if it finds their emails. Okay, buyer, found their email, active. Now it's creating the key milestones. Let's see, where is that adding it? Milestones and deadlines. So you see here, in a matter of minutes, it just creates everything. This is awesome. Let's take it one more step further and create another outreach. You just keep on creating things that are tailored to you, for you, in the way that you want to see fit. If if you came from the beginning, like I basically had barely anything here, And AI is creating all of this, helping me create this entire test base from scratch, and it's incredible. So it's creating another table. And outreach and communication. Start creating and filling out all those records. So now anytime you add anything, you just ask it to analyze, initial consultation, contact like property link, date and time, communication. And it did all of these also initiated by. It's like you don't even have to build all of this. Purpose, duration, key point, client needs, solution proposed. So like and satisfaction. So you really don't need any other CRM or anything like when you can really build anything that is tailored to you. This is amazing. And like this is the first time I'm doing it live this extensively. That's why I just like to hop on live to build it out because like I do all of this experimenting on my own. So I figured what it looks like to show what it looks like as I'm doing it. Let's see in the milestones. That was insane. In the milestones, I want to see these add called calendar. See, I'm about to run out in Claude. Please add the calendar view in add track. Let's see if this works. So it said Airtable's API doesn't allow to create views, but it'll create other helpful views. Okay, so it's telling me how to do it. But instead of doing it that way, so let's say you just wanted to look at your Airtable. Hopefully I don't run out of tokens for this, but instead of building out the calendar view, I want you to look at all the milestones and deadlines and then build me an artifact that I can visualize those deadlines here. Include all the relevant information that I need to know. Okay, so now you just hop in, be like, okay, great. You don't want to look through all of this. You just want to interact with AI. So now you ask to build an artifact to visualize it for you. This is going to be like one of the last things I do because I'm going to run out of tokens anyway. But hopefully this shows you what's possible right now, and it's amazing what you can do in terms of keeping track of your real estate deals. Or if you're a financial planner, you could keep track of financial information. If you're dealing with a lot of contracts, you could keep track of all of your contract information here and which stage it's at. And let's say you review a contract, then you want to upload like the clauses, and then you could build a custom CRM for any situation you could possibly think of in a matter of, I don't want to say minutes, but if you have that picture in your head that you want to build out, like, it's amazing. So if you have this information, let's say in on Excel, just transfer it to Airtable, put it online, and then now you could have that back and forth instead of trying to upload those Excel sheets into your large language model every single time. And that's, of course, to say that you have to make sure that all of your information is like non-confidential, and making sure that you're satisfied with the controls of these large language models, and each of them have their own controls in place. Okay. Let's see here. How well did it visualize? This week coming. What's the other one? This is not so interactive, but and not incredibly helpful. But you're able to then prompt it further, and then, but this is essentially what you can do and how you could think about these certain situations. Anyone has any questions, feel free to send me a message. I'm helping business owners leverage AI to help their efficiency, help them grow, and help them just do everything 10 times faster, better. And honestly, we're in a very exciting time where people are able to do so much when you realize what's possible. And I hope this gives you a glimpse into what's possible. Hope you all have a great night.